Mr. Taylor motherfucking Doose. How are you doing?
I'm so good, man. How are you doing?
So good, dude. It's so good to have you on here. It's been a long while.
It has. It has been a minute or two.
Something like that. So you were on my podcast toward the beginning-ish, actually. Fun fact. Do you know what episode and number you were on?
I'm going to take a stab in the dark and go with 9.
Not quite.
Ah, damn
Episode
it.
15.
Ah, at least it was
uh
under 20.
this is under 20. Dude, this is almost 6 years exactly. Almost. Like in 2 weeks it'll be
That's a
6 years.
that's bananas.
July 10th. So welcome back,
Oh
dude.
my God. Hey, thanks. Thanks, man. It's good to be seen again 6 years later.
I know. I feel like I have some of your movies that you have let me borrow, like the last time you were in town. I remember you said, "Hey, I'm going to give this to you so that way you have an excuse to come visit me in LA."
Exactly. And where have you been? You haven't even come to see me once.
Nope, I haven't really left my apartment since. So,
That's okay. I after COVID, I barely leave my apartment unless I have to.
yeah, it's interesting. But so you are still in or you're still out in LA, correct?
Yes, sir.
And how's that going so far since like the last time you were on versus now, I guess?
You know, it has been a hell of a journey the last couple of years because we've been out here since 2019. So, going on 7 years now. And in that time, we got here, it was like 3, 4 months before lockdown happened. So, our initial adventures in LA was here's your apartment for a year. You get to see nothing, meet no one, just stare at four walls for a while. And then after that, it was writers' strikes and SAG strikes, and the industry just being like, we're coming back. Just kidding. No, we're not. And it's been a hell of a journey that is, every day I always hold out hope because every day they're like, things are turning around. Things are getting better. We're starting to pick up momentum again. And every day I'm like, everybody I knows how to work still. Like, where's this momentum that we keep hearing about? But it's one of those things where you know me, I have always been an optimist, and I am like, if the gatekeepers are going to gatekeep, I'm going to make my own opportunities, and that's what I've been trying to do ever since. Like, I've been slowly building my way and meeting people in the actual industry, but it's still just been grinding and freelancing pretty much the entire time.
What's been your like the biggest thing that you've worked on since being in LA? I don't know if you were allowed to say if there's any NDAs, but
Oh man. Yeah, I did some projects. I worked on the Behind the Attraction on Disney Plus. That was a pretty big one. Um, because some reality shows, some stuff no one's ever heard of and rightfully shouldn't ever hear of. But yeah, I mean, I've kind of just been bouncing around all over the place, like just crazy projects here and there and everywhere. And
what
so here
kind
we
of
are.
what aspect of freelance do you actually kind of focus on yourself?
Most of my work is done in editing. That's where I've kind of always made my bones. And it's one of those when I got into filmmaking, it was, oh, you want to be a writer director? Become an editor first,
Yeah.
because editing is going to teach you more about what to do on a set and what you're looking for, what's going to work, what's not going to work. Even in the script phase where it's like in your head, you're like, oh, this is so cool. And then you start putting your editor hat on and being like, none of this is needed. Like, all this is great. It's really fun. But when we actually shoot the movie, this is going to be garbage that you're going to cut out in the edit. So just cut it out now.
Yeah, dude. Whenever I'm writing, I always think about like the small micro expressions,
Yeah.
of the characters. I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be such a good close up. But then, like you said, in editing or like just even like the overall workflow, it would probably not ever be in there unless there was a specific reason.
And stuff like that too. It's like, I'm kind of the opposite end of stuff where I'm
Yeah.
like, I want to let an actor find those moments, and
Yeah.
then as an editor, find them like even when the actor isn't necessarily on and the camera's rolling, and it's like, oh, they're not even really paying attention. Like we have moments where it's like, somebody's in a setup, but the camera's still rolling, and it's like, oh, they made this really interesting expression while like a PA was asking if they want coffee, but like, pull the audio out of that, and this micro expression is perfect. So
Out of context movie magic.
exactly. Happy accidents left and right.
I love it. When was the last time you were in Utah?
3 years ago in September.
And was that so? Because I was trying to think about this before we started recording this, but like, was that when you were shooting your upcoming thing that I
Yeah.
may have been a dick and flaked on?
Hey man, I don't choose to say you were a dick. I choose to say you had life events happening and chose life over my movie.
Regrettably, actually, that's actually I was like, damn, I really wish I did not do that. So,
Ah,
FOMO.
I mean, well, it's just now you will have to feel bad, and I'll hold you for the next one where I'm like, hey Chaz, the next one's coming up. You better come out for this one.
Yeah, just say, don't be a dick this time, asshole.
Yeah. You want to regret this again?
Like, okay, that's fair. I asked for that. So with your upcoming project, I don't know if like how you want to bring this up, but like, what exactly is it? Like, how did it get started, and how long has it been kind of in the works for? Because this
Oh,
is personally,
jeez.
dude, I'm excited. Like when I got your text, I was like, let's fucking go.
So the new project is my first feature film that I wrote, directed, produced, wore every hat because it's indie movies. You gotta kind of be a one-man army a lot of the time and rely on as many amazing, talented artists as you can. But it's that classic triangle of the good, fast, quick, like good, fast, cheap. That's the triangle. And you can have two of those, but you can never have all three. And so, it was good and it was cheap because we didn't have any money, but it took a long time. So, yeah, so it's called In the Path of Shadows. My first feature film. It is a werewolf movie, is the way I kind of present it to people. It's kind of in the realm. That's the one. That's the one. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
werewolf movie, and
I got it.
love it. It's kind of my version, my love letter to 80s werewolf movies like An American Werewolf in London and The Howling. A little bit of 90s with ginger snaps in there. And just, it's one of those things. I have loved werewolves forever, and they're so underrepresented in horror. And it was so funny because it's been in the works for, I mean, if you go back to the very beginnings, it's been almost 10 years of this thing percolating and kind of going from those initial script phases all the way up until now, where it's like we're final exporting like as I speak, with the final renders are happening. And so barring any kind of horrific issues that we haven't seen yet, this is finally done.
How do I don't know if you want to spoil this. Like, do you want me asking like how long it is?
It is an hour and 40 minutes.
Hell yeah, dude. You did a full-on feature.
Yes, sir.
That's exciting. How long did the edit take you overall?
The edit took us probably, I mean, the initial edit was like, 3 months, I think we took on it. But, again, it's indie movies. So up until about 6 months ago, we were shooting B-roll for this thing. Where it was like, oh, we need just one more little shot of hands or one more little shot of feet. We need somebody picking up a phone right here. So, overall, like it was our actual production shoot was 15 days, but every time we'd go and shoot something else, I would just put in its own subfolder. So our days folders turned out to be about 34. Just to like, we have 15 actual shoot days and then
Oh my God.
so many B-roll days.
Jeez, dude.
Yeah.
How long were your the shoot days overall then? Like, was it like pretty long days?
You
And
know,
I imagine so because it was like, indie, but
me and Jonathan, who's also a producer and the DP, were talking about this the other day that like the thing that we were the absolute proudest of, and the thing that for our budget should not have come out, and for how well, honestly, the movie turned out should not have worked. We went over by one day. Was the only day we went over 12 hours, was one day.
oh my gosh. How
Yeah, and
many?
it was a brutal day. I think that one ended up being close to 15, but
So
everybody on the crew was just like, it's cool. We got you. Like, we're
well,
proud to stay a few extra hours for this day. So,
I'm not surprised by that because having worked in a couple of your sets myself, it's always just fun,
oh
you know?
yeah, yeah. We
Um,
we try to keep it light and fun for sure.
yeah, that's why because I recently helped Michael out on his little shoot and
Yeah.
it was the same thing where it was a very long day, but I was like, this is
Mhm.
so fun. I don't care. It's just fun.
Right. And that's the thing is when people like you grow up and people are always like, oh, if you find a job you love, you won't work a day in your life. And I it was my whole working career, I was like, I don't think that's true. I think that's something they just tell us. And then, like, you get on film sets and it's like, oh, I've been working 23 hours today. That's okay. I'm having a great time.
And tomorrow's gonna suck with being tired, but it's
Yeah,
gonna be great.
tomorrow's going to be awful, but you know what? We'll just have some Red Bulls and push through it. And on the weekend, we'll sleep a lot and do it all over again.
So how many pages does that equal per day then, like when you guys were shooting?
Most of the time, I think we were trying to get between like 6 and 8. And then, we have a couple of days where it was closer to like 10 to 12, but those
Yeah.
were days where it was just heavy dialogue days and a lot less like moving stuff around, one location, lots of talking. So we were able to like knock a lot of that stuff out.
See, that's what I love about movie making is like there's so many factors to go into it. Like 12 pages of dialogue is absolutely not a whole lot of, like you said, shooting essentially, right? It's like
Mhm.
very straightforward, you just want to get coverage kind of a thing. But uh 12 pages of pure packed action is going to take, I don't know, like up to like even a week on the
Oh,
probably
yeah.
2 weeks even, like it's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I look at some of these productions, especially like back in the day where they were talking about, we get through a quarter page a day, and I'm just like, what's that like? What's that like to have the time and money to just concentrate that wholly on a quarter of a page? Like, that
Quarter of a
sounds
page
amazing.
with like, I don't know, 80 people on set maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fun though. Did you guys shoot primarily in Utah or did you kind of like mix it between Utah and Cali?
Yeah, it was all of our production was done in Salt Lake and Park City. And then
Nice.
almost all the pickup stuff we just filmed out in California and LA, like around Burbank and stuff like that. But it's hopefully I haven't heard anybody say differently. You really cannot tell the difference.
It's part of the movie magic, man.
Exactly.
Well, what for you? Because was your the project before, was that Lilith that you worked on? Was that your last quarter project
I
or
think there have been a couple little things after that, but
because I remember
I think technically the last one before this was the proof of concept for this
proof of
that
concept.
we went up to Wyoming and shot.
Gotcha. Ooh. Dude, because I remember sitting in on a table read for the I don't remember what draft it was, but like I just remember being like, oh, this has so much potential. Like and like knowing you, I'm just like, you're such a horror aficionado, or it's just like you're gonna fucking pull shit out of a bag and make it look magical as fuck.
Well, I hope so, man. I kind of feel like that's the trick of it is like, all movies are coming from a place of love and a place of passion, but
Yeah.
I also am not delusional enough to be like, we don't have $30 million to work with here. Like, we are working with literally two pennies rubbed together. And I'm like, if we can make this look as good as, XYZ movie, I'll be fine with it. Cause we're never going to be looking like, a Conjuring movie or, like, I don't know what the big giant movies are now. After Obsession hit, I'm just like everything to me is like, oh, this is where we're going. Cool, cool.
Dude, so with I haven't seen Obsession yet. That is on my to watch list. But I didn't know that I've been following the director on YouTube for quite a few years now.
Yeah, yeah,
And so I saw an interview with him and I was like, wait, why does he look familiar? And then I, made the connection. I was like, oh, that's what people mean that he's a YouTuber. Like, gotcha.
yeah. Literal YouTuber.
So I'm excited to watch that one. But uh, with, I guess I could maybe tie this back into like, LA and stuff. Like, because in Utah, we recently experienced the loss of a major film festival,
Hmm.
RIP Sundance. Do you like in LA, is it kind of similar where it's like things are just moving kind of out of LA into like other areas of the US and whatnot? Or,
I mean, that's the thing is LA has, in all the time I've been here, like nothing shoots in LA. Everything is shooting usually overseas, like in Europe for the most part. A lot like went to Atlanta for a long time, but even Atlanta I know is struggling right now. Like I know a few years ago, I think it was Sony or Warner Brothers was building this giant sound studio in Vegas and then like broke ground and they were like, no, never mind. Like we don't want to do Vegas now. So I feel like the studio industry side of things is so lost and doesn't really know where they're going. But recently, like the governor's office and the film commission out here, like signed these massive incentives, and they're really focused on the indie side of things. So, as much as the traditional studio system seems to just be dying and kind of becoming that dinosaur that doesn't know how to follow itself, like YouTube really is becoming the next big thing. And California is being smart enough to be like, all right, like for under $1 million, we can help churn out, 100 movies a year that are filmed in LA, and the studios can keep doing whatever they want, and they can get on board or not, and we'll
yeah,
see. But
it's so interesting to me because I know in the 90s, the film industry was also struggling.
mhm,
And then indie cinema, thanks Sundance, right? Came
yep,
in and saved it quite a bit of Hollywood. And then,
yeah,
Hollywood started following those trends. And now it's interesting now with YouTube because, like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, people would have said, if you haven't broke it on YouTube yet, you're not going to make it. Right. I mean, that
mhm,
was what people were saying because of all the influence. Like, I mean, just look at all the influencers, right? So now it's really interesting now that, again, Hollywood's finding itself in this little corner that it's got itself into. Like, no one forced it there. It's its own dumbassery, right?
yeah,
And on top of that, indie cinema is no longer about the film festival circuit as it once was, right? I mean, it is,
mhm,
like you said, it's fully about, we're going to embrace even more distribution with YouTube. We're gonna make YouTube. We're gonna make I don't know, Vimeo's still a thing, but like, these other outlets, so that way more people can actually watch us. And guess what? It's free.
yeah.
You don't have to pay any
Well,
fees or anything.
I think even beyond, like, yes, the free thing is important because people, as sad as it makes me, like art
Yeah.
has kind of become a thing that has lost value to a lot of people. But things that I think people are also saying we're going to vote with our wallets, and like Backrooms and Obsession are such clear signs of that, where it's like, yeah, these guys are coming from YouTube, but we started watching them for free, but they also proved themselves and their worth to us. So when they make something else and there is in theaters, we will show our support and we will put our money and our dollars behind this and vote and be like, yeah, yeah, more of this. And also for me, it's one of those things where, like in the 90s, Hollywood has become so obsessed with making things bigger and bigger and more of a spectacle. And,
Yeah.
we need an Avengers, we need a Fast and the Furious. And it's like, oh, cool. What are the storylines? And they're like, storyline? And now you're swinging that other way to indie, where they're like, oh, we don't have money for spectacle, so we're just going to give you really good stories. And people are saying, this is all we want. We want a good story told to us coherently. Spectacle's great, but like, give us people, give us drama, give us something we can connect to.
Yeah. Yeah. I also like, I don't, I know, with AI being incorporated into like everything we look at, right? Um, with Hollywood, it feels like they're willing to take the shortcuts with doing that and taking away the human essence of these movies, right? And whether the outcome is good or not, I mean, that's, up to whoever. It's not a hill worth dying on, in my opinion. But
Mhm, mhm.
whereas with like indie side of stuff, I mean, you can still use AI to like help you outline and shit, right? And like you could also use it to figure out how to edit certain stuff in a program. Um, and so it's being utilized differently too. Like one's more for profit, the other one's actually, to better the craft. Like how do I do this? So uh, I imagine that's also having a huge impact on everything across the board as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. AI is kind of the like elephant in the room for everybody because you've got your studios, like your Netflix is buying Ben Affleck's AI thing and being like, yeah, we can completely make everything outside of the actors with AI. We don't need locations or people or props or anything anymore. And it's like, cool, cool. So you're taking everything gorgeous about it and pulling out and being like, we don't need this. And then you've got the Christopher Nolan side of things where he's like, no, we're going to make the Odyssey and we're going to shoot on the ocean for a year.
With IMAX
And then you've,
cameras.
yeah, and then you've got, the indie people who it's like, yeah, I can't afford an assistant editor, but AI can help me sort through all this footage. And, you know, I'm kind of, it's hard because I'm an old man about things. And I'm like, no, we got traditions, we got the way things should be done. But I'm also, I'm not adverse to technology. So
Yeah.
I'm one of these people who I'm like, I've always equated AI to any other tool. I'm like, if I'm going to build a house, I can frame it with a hammer and nails, and it's going to take a lot longer, or I can use a nail gun. Like, we're still going to see achieve the same thing, just which one's going to get it there faster. But at the same time, I'm not going to paint the walls with a nail gun. I'm not going to decorate with a nail gun. Like at a certain point, the tool becomes not the correct tool for the job. And I feel like the studios are saying, "Oh hell no, we can hang a TV with a nail gun." And Indie's going, "No, we can frame and like maybe put up drywall, and then everything else we're going to do by hand."
Dude, the nail gun is such a perfect metaphor for that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. My thoughts on AI keeps changing. It's like I see the benefits, but then I see the shit people do with it, and I'm like, okay, but it feels mirrorless. I don't know, dude.
But it's the same thing as like when editing moved from taking reels and
Yeah.
splicing them together with tape, and then they were like, "All right, we're going to put this on a computer." And editors were like, "Oh my God, this is the end of the industry. How can you do this?" It's like it's just a tool. The computer's a tool. Like,
Was that
figure it out.
was that a thing in the like during the switch between computers and like the, old school film editing? Like,
Oh
was there
yeah, I
a
mean
huge panic about it?
that was everything. Like anytime something like that comes along, it's I talked to old school editors who edited on film, and they were like, I took me years to switch over to a computer because I just did not understand it. And then once I did, I was like, oh, well, this is incredible. Like I could do so much more and with so much more ease. And I'm not having to be like so scared because with film, it was like you make that cut, like that's it. There's no control Z when you're using an actual razor blade and tape.
Yeah. That's so that's so cool. I wonder if like the old school editing, like, is that considered like an art form in today?
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%. Like,
And are there hobbyists that still do it just that way, you know?
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, but it's like, the rise of the digital camera.
Yeah.
Like to get actual film developed costs such an arm and a leg now because nobody does it. There's like three companies in the country that you can get actual film developed. And so it's like, sure, like there's hobbyists that are still cutting films the traditional way. It's just kind of priced itself out at this point too.
Yeah. Hmm. Fascinating. Within Path of the Shadows, what was your driving inspiration for? You mentioned some of the movies from the 80s, like,
Hmm?
Werewolf in London and uh,
The
Ginger
Howling,
Snap, Howling.
Ginger Snaps. Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
I've never heard Ginger Snap, so that was a new one for me.
Oh, that's a
But
great one. You should check it out.
uh, it's like were those like the primary factors like about the influence behind it, or was there like just like this really strong desire, just like you know what, I fucking love werewolves. I'm just gonna go and tell the story.
For me, writing is kind of one of those things that I don't know. I know I'm super weird because a lot of writers I know cannot work the way that I do, but like I can't outline things
Yeah.
because I kind of come from it that world where like Stephen King and his book on writing talks about where he's like, I'm an archaeologist. Like the words are all there, and I'm just the one that knows how to sweep the sand away. And that's how I feel because when I started writing this, I didn't know it was a werewolf. None of this stuff, and the whole writing process kind of happened in a really weird way too, where I had this idea for a movie where it was, this girl and her best friend and her brother, and they're like going out in the woods and kind of get attacked by this creature. And then 90% of the movie took place in just like this car on the side of the road. And
Ooh.
like a offbeat sheriff character that came in and kind of like switching back and forth. And so I wrote this entire movie. It was like 70 some pages. And I got done with it and I was like, I need it to be like a couple pages longer. So I wrote this cold open and it was like, this girl running through the woods and being attacked by this creature. And then at the very end, it was like she falls in the road and the creature pulls her back. And then you see this, like the car with the kids drive by. And it was kind of tied in that way. And so I got done with that. And I was like, oh my God, the opening of this is like so much stronger than the rest of the movie. Like so much stronger. And so I did one of those things where I was like, all right, well, okay, instead of she gets pulled back into the woods, what if she crawls into the road and gets saved? What's the rest of her story like? And so I ended up just deleting, 70 pages of this other
Oh,
script and being like, no, I want to see where this goes. And that's where In the Path of Shadows happened, no, I want to follow this girl. I want to follow her journey. She's so much more interesting of a character to me. Let's see where this goes. And that's just kind of where it evolved. Like the monster stayed the same, but then everything else was completely different.
you killed 70 pages.
I did. I recently found
Oh,
it too.
I mean, at
I
least you
started
have them.
reading it. Well, that's the thing. I started reading it. I got about 10 pages in. I'm like, this is dog shit. This is terrible.
Hey, do you have to get through this shit, to find the greatness, right? The gold.
Oh, exactly. And that's what I say is I'm like, yes, I deleted 70 pages that will never see the light of day, but I also had to do that to get to the story I did arrive at that I absolutely feel is the one that needed to be told.
Dude, I remember there was a script that I was working on probably in 2017. It was like when I was still in school for like one of the classes.
Yeah.
And I was at my grandparents' house because we were just moving and we had no internet. And I was like, Grandpa, I have to use your computer to, finish the script. And he's like, okay. And I remember writing about 40 pages in like 5 hours, just full.
Oh
Like,
man.
I don't know how I did it, dude. But in the later drafts, those 40
Mhm.
pages, nowhere to be found. But the ideas are still there, like different
Exactly.
concepts and shit. So oh, dude, it's cool. I love writing so much.
Yeah. Right? Isn't it so much fun just like being the first audience for this thing and kind of just getting to see what gets told to you?
That's a good way to look at it. The writer
Oh
being the
yeah.
audience.
That's literally how I always look at things because I'm like, whatever this divine inspiration is, like, I get to feel so lucky being the first audience to experience this story and just being like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen now? Why are they going down this hallway? What's on the other side of the door? I don't know. Let's find out together.
It's funny because like we don't. Well, I don't. I'm not gonna speak for everyone, but like I don't know what's happening half the time.
Yeah,
It's just for me. I let the characters kind of, like you said, explore. But I know
yeah.
people who will like outline to a T, like every single
Hmm.
small detail. I'm just like, I don't. But I've done that before. And it feels different. Like the stories actually do feel very different.
Yeah.
Different. depending on like what approach you take, you know?
Yeah, I've done outline. I can outline. It to me at least, it kind of takes away that joy of exploration because I feel like with an outline, it's kind of like watching Fight Club for the second time, where it's like, oh, I know where the twist is, and like I'm gonna look at it from a completely different angle
Yeah.
and like pick up on all the breadcrumbs. But like that first time, like it's that sixth sense moment where it's like, wait, Bruce Willis is what? You can't do that again. Like I want that moment every time I sit down to write something.
That was me with Interstellar in the third act.
Ah,
I will my jaw was hit. Dude, that was like equivalent to my jaw hitting the floor where my mind just got melted.
exactly.
So I'm so excited for the Odyssey. But um with writing, how long does it take you to kind of get in that flow state to let things kind of, and like do you have a routine where you kind of like unwind, eat certain foods and just kind of get in the space?
I'm honestly the worst writer. Like I am the person who will generally have to wait till an idea's kind of come into my head and then I let it just ruminate. And if something doesn't stick there and for like a week that's all I can think about and keep adding to it, I'm just like, obviously I don't care about this idea enough to keep at it. But it's those ones that like the kernel gets in there and then it's like, you'll be in the shower and it's like, oh, but what if they're, a doctor? And then it's like, you then it just goes away. And then like a couple days later, driving and you're like, oh my God, not only are they a doctor, but they also have a twin who's also a doctor. And then it's like, cool, that could be fun. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, but like the one is kind of evil, but not the one you think is evil. Like, and then
Yeah.
that's where I start to get into this like, well, let's just see where this goes. And then I'll sit down and start writing. But like, I don't have a routine. I just let whatever take over and see where it takes me. And, if I get one sentence a day, I feel great. If I get 13 pages, I feel great. So
Yeah. That's a great way to look at it. Do you ever feel like do the characters ever surprise you in the sense of like you have an idea of you want this character to be such a mean person, like this evil person, right? Then all of a sudden, like you keep writing and they shift. They just go, I don't think so. And you're like, wait, what? And you try to force it, and they're like, no, I'm good.
I don't know that I've ever had anybody surprise me as far as like their characterization like that, but like characters surprise me constantly. Like that's one of my favorite moments is when I'm sitting there. It's like, okay, we're gonna go beat up this bad guy, and then we're gonna go down the hall and we're gonna walk out the front door. And it's like we go in, we beat up the bad guy, we walk down the hall, and then they're like, I'm gonna go to this other room. And it's like, what other room? Like, I didn't know there was another room. And all of a sudden they're just like, no, no, yeah, we gotta go in this other room. And I'm like, but what's there? And to me, it's one of those things where I guess people don't really surprise me. The characters don't surprise me with their emotionality or anything because to me, like really good villains are always the heroes of their own story. So if I'm going to write a villain, I want to be able to just like turn the lens slightly and be like, oh no, I understand where they're coming from and where they think they're doing right. Or like, every good villain thinks they're the hero of their story. They're just willing to take actions that the more heroic our protagonist doesn't want to take. And that makes them the villain. But every once in a while, it is really fun to just write an absolutely irrepressible, like horrible, horrible villain. Like that's one of my honestly, it's probably my favorite character I've ever written is in the Past Shadows. There's a hunter character that is pure evil, but in the most sadistic way possible. And even when we were casting, like the actor came to me and he was like, it was before he got the script, but he was just like, man, this is really cool. I love the side. I love the project, but like I have to know that this guy does not win in the end. And I'm like, oh no, like he is one of those people that cannot come out on top. Like he is so evil that he has to get, spoilers, but like he does not come out as the happiest of endings for him.
he gets what's coming, right?
Exactly.
Uh, what was like the hardest thing to film in Path of the Shadows? Like, what was like a major milestone you guys had to kind of like overcome?
Oh man, it's so funny because you'd think it would be like the stuff where it was like, oh, like the werewolf attack has that's got to be super hard. Like, big gory scenes, like that's going to be so hard. It's the easiest, like the simple shit that is so dumb where it's like, oh, we have to do this part where it's like something jumps out at someone. We filmed that, I think 17 takes, 18 takes, and it's 2 seconds. Like it's literally just like that. Just super quick, like 18 times. We had to at one point break for lunch, sit around a table and all brainstorm on how to make this work well because it wasn't working. It just every time we did it, it was like getting to that point where it was like, this is as good as it's gonna get, I guess. And then it was, let's try it one more time like this, and it worked out perfectly. It's like, great, fucking finally.
For 2 second shot.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, it's one of those where, like, yes, it was one of the biggest headaches that we had to deal with, but also, like, in the movie, it's kind of one of my favorite moments. And it might have been just because I know how much effort it took to get there, but the effort's worth it, man. Like sometimes those 2 seconds are the best 2 seconds of the whole damn movie.
Are those 2 seconds in a trailer of any sort?
Yes.
I'm curious what shot it is. It'll be fun.
Yeah. No, I think you'll figure it out pretty quick, but it is in the teaser trailer for sure, yeah.
What's your guys' release schedule looking like then?
So we are doing, I don't know when this is dropping officially, but we're doing a big
Have a,
premiere in Utah.
sorry, have a nap. Sorry,
Damn
sorry. Restart
gnats.
that. Restart that. Fucking gnats.
So we're going to do a big premiere party in Utah for all the cast and crew and friends and family. And we're doing that August 2nd. So if any of your listeners are inclined, like the link's going to be up on our Instagram page, the In the Path of Shadows Instagram. And, it's one of those, we're just kind of trying to celebrate everybody that helped bring this crazy thing together. We're planning to do a big LA premiere after that. Hopefully sometime like mid-August is my thoughts. But that's going to be probably more of an industry thing, like the like industry people that we've met over the years, and since a lot of people were instrumental that are in Utah were a part of it, we just wanted to come and do a big surprise and do that, and then it's kind of just weighing the options. Like probably going to do a festival run, see what that brings. We've also been in talks with some distribution type people and different people like that. So hopefully in the not too distant future, you can see this thing at the Megaplex and then on home video on Netflix or something. But, the way the world is right now, who knows, man? We might end up dropping it on YouTube. Who knows? Like,
Hey, but then that's like the big break then, It's always
and
the
that's the
trend.
thing is like the deeper you get into the whole distribution side of things and like when people talk about how movies don't make money and it's something like one of my favorite stories is Back to the Future where like who doesn't know Back to the Future, who doesn't love Back to the Future, but Universal for years was like, with all the marketing budget, this, that, and the other, like it took them, I think, until like 1997 to turn a profit, according to Universal. And it was like, it took you till 1997, like 20 years later, that's when you were able to finally start making some money to hand to people. Definitely
That's
not like a corporate greed
yeah,
getting in the way and fudging some numbers there. And that's the thing is like, YouTube, it's like that's kind of become this thing of people are looking at it and like, I own all the rights. I don't have to cut anyone else on the distribution. I control the marketing. Like, it's a lot more work, but at the end of the day, you also are the one that you can't look at anybody else and say, you didn't do enough. You can only look in the mirror and say, I didn't do enough.
yeah. I didn't do enough. That's a good mantra.
Oh, man, that's how I live my life is I never do enough.
No, dude, we're our own worst critics, you know.
Exactly.
But with with YouTube though, that's what I did with Knife Adventure. It's just released on there
Hmm.
finally. And I treat my YouTube dude as just like a hub. It's just
Yeah.
whatever's out there is out there, you know. That being said, I've had to hide the early YouTube
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
no one needs to see 14-year-old Chaz using iMovie and Windows Movie Maker, you know.
Yeah, but one day you're going to look back on that stuff and just, reminisce and be really happy you have it. Because I'll tell you, there are cases of VHS tapes somewhere back from when I was a kid, like
Yeah.
making home movies, like my first shorts that don't exist anymore because technology wasn't around to upload them or anything. And I found all those tapes one time and, all of them were so damaged that I couldn't even play them. And I'm just like, I'd give anything to look back on these absolutely god awful movies from when I was like 10 years old.
Yeah. It's so fun. I love home movies too. Like I have VHS tapes, you know, myself, and
Yeah.
I question that now with like today's generation. Like, you know, we all have our cell phones, but do people actually ever store them on the computer and make the old school stuff for the family, you know,
Mhm.
or is that just like a weird generational thing that just happened and never,
Yeah.
you know?
I was thinking about it not long ago that it's so funny that like you watch old shows and old movies and stuff, and there's always that moment where like the neighbors bring over all their slides from vacation, and everybody's like, "Oh God, I don't want to
Yeah.
sit through this." And then it's like, but we're actively on TikTok and Instagram every day looking at other people's vacation slides for fun. Like, wait, okay, sure.
I had to, so my uh last year my grandpa passed and we had to, well, not we, I had to go through all his DVDs of his trips
Hmm.
and digitize them. And that itself is a bitch and a half.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But like I was, you know, watching like some of the stuff, and I remember during holidays, like you just said, he'd like, we're gonna watch this, and you know, we're like, really, do we have to, you know? And but in hindsight, it's like, oh yeah, that's the memories though. So
Yeah.
it's
Exactly.
fascinating. Um, what are you gonna be working on after in the Path of the Shadows? Do you have any
Oh
plans?
man. I mean, it's one of those where I have two features completely written, ready to go, like pitch decks built, ready to just hand somebody and be like, "Hey, let's make the next one." And but the one I really want to focus on, if I can, is a neo-noir vampire movie that's also a western.
You had me at all that.
Yeah, it's kind of one of the coolest scripts I think I have ever written, but it's like a modern cowboy movie, but with vampires because that hasn't been done to death yet.
No, dude. I wanna. If you ever do table read, I wanna sit in on it.
Yeah, for sure, man.
That sounds fun. I
Yeah, it's
always,
it's another one of those scripts where like, there's a villain who's the most fun character I've ever written. Like he is so much fun and I love him and he is so awful.
I love that. Do you, do you ever like after you finish a script, have you ever tried to like make it into like a novel format?
Yeah, I played with it before because I know that I mean the internet is full of people giving you advice about here's what to do and oh, if you want to make a movie, like write a successful novel and then you can get an option. Then you can already have the screenplay ready to go. And I'm like, you act like a novel is just easy to whip out. Like, Well, I've got this feature-length screenplay written. Give me half an hour and let me just pull out this novelization of it. Like,
Yeah.
but I have a really hard time switching my brain to narrative writing. Like, I've just been screenwriting for so many years that I try switching to narrative. I'm just like, this is so much more tedious. Like, I have to think so much more about like adding in those tiny finite details and there's a fun aspect to that where it's like describing the dust falling off of someone's boot as it clanks to the wooden floorboards and it's like, oh, this is cool. That
So,
was a whole sentence. Now do
yeah,
that 800 billion more times and
it's just a time to flourish your writing skills, you know?
it is, but I've got other things that also like kind of demand my attention, so
Dude, it's like for me because I've tried it a couple times and it's always I'm always paranoid I'm not writing in the right tense. Because in screenwriting it's mostly present tense, you know, you can't really fuck that
yeah.
up. Well, you mean you can, but like but with novels it's always third person, you know, and past present tense, but then there's sometimes like the observer or what I don't know. Like it's just I don't know.
But
It's
that's
weird.
kind of the joy of art is like lean into that. Let this be a super unreliable narrator that can't even get their tenses straight. Like,
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too, is like it's like I'm viewing it more like rules, you know, like with screenwriting, it's like,
yeah,
oh, it has to be present tense. No, it doesn't, right? You can write
no,
it however you want. Uh, and like it's like there's just these guidelines, but like with the tenses, like you said, I was just thinking, I'm like, that'd be actually really interesting to
mhm,
purposely merge it. Like if you understand the rules, then you could break the rules. They're meant to be broken, right?
exactly, exactly. I forget what book it is. I wish I could remember, but like there's a book where there's one period in the entire book, and that's the last line of the novel. Like, and the whole thing is one sentence, no punctuation outside of a single period at the very end. It's like, yeah, no rules, no rules whatsoever.
Was it The Road?
I don't think so. It's a different one, but
'Cause I think The Road
The
was
Road might
stylized.
have done something like that too.
Yeah, writing's fun. It's an art
Yeah,
form in itself.
yeah. Oh no, and that's the joy of it. Is like I've always been drawn to filmmakers, especially that are in that world of like, know the rules inside and out so that you could break the rules with abandon and be like, no, I understand how to do this, but who gives a shit? Like,
Yeah.
not like I went to a thing yesterday at the Academy Museum. This is going to sound really like name droppy LA of me, and I'm sorry, but like it was a really cool experience. So just deal with it. I went to a screening of Hitchcock's North by Northwest with Guillermo del Toro doing a lecture on it.
Oh shit.
And it was so cool because like he came and like talked for like half an hour and then we watched the movie and then he did another half-hour talk where he just watched the famous scene where Jimmy Stewart's in the cornfield and the airplane's coming in and he broke down everything of like why Hitchcock did these shots, how he uses these shots, how there's like no movement here, how there's no score here, and it's like at this point he brings in the score when this happens, and the camera zooms right here, and one of the things he pointed out, he's like, it's film school essentially, where he's like, all right, so you've got this like axis where if you've got two people talking, you pick a side of the 300 or a 180 line. And it's like, they set up the camera here. And so this person's on the left, then you switch sides. This person's on the right. And so every time it switches back and forth, it's natural. He shows they have Hitchcock's actual camera diagrams from this scene, and it is all over the place. And he's like, this breaks every rule of that. Like, he's jumping the line here and there, moving the camera here and there, doing this and this and this. And he's like, but because of the way he sets it up, you never get lost. Because he does it so smart at the beginning of this whole sequence, he allows himself to break that rule every single time. And at no point you're going, wait, where in the hell in the world am I? You're like, no, no, yeah, that's exactly. This guy's coming from here. Now this car's over there. It's like, yeah, I know exactly where I am. And so, yeah, it's like, know the rules so you can go, fuck it. I don't want to use any of those rules right now.
I love that. Dude, I haven't seen that movie in like years.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
it is a good one. Everything Hitchcock did was great in
Do
some
they
ways.
do they do those lectures often, like with like guest directors or producers or
Yeah, yeah. The Academy Museum, like, it's not only like the coolest museum if you're a film person, like, I've actively just gone in there and wept before at certain things. Like, the first time I went there, they have Hitchcock's handwritten script, like all his notes in Psycho. And I lost it. I was like, oh my God, this might as well have been like the Bible. Like, Hitchcock's handwritten notes on his Psycho script. Like, ugh. But yeah, I missed it. But they had an evening with John Carpenter that was moderated by Bong Joon Ho, which I was like so sad I missed that one. But in I think it's next month, Robert Rodriguez is coming with From Dusk Till Dawn, and he's gonna like do a whole lecture and screening of that, and then play with his band and just yeah. I mean, they do the coolest shit there. Like, if anyone is like a super film nerd, like you can spend the whole day at the Academy Museum and just never get sick of it.
so that's gonna be my first spot I go to when I visit LA.
Yeah, yeah. You're
On
gonna
my
get off the plane. We're gonna drive there, and I'm just gonna watch you be a kid in the candy store and wide-eyed and be like, "Oh my God, it's that thing! It's that thing! It's this thing! Oh my God!"
dude, that's how so I saw a disclosure day yesterday.
Oh, how was it?
Uh I fucked with it, dude. I was like, this
Cool.
is let Spielberg cook, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I get why people are bashing it, but like, dude, let him cook.
It's on the list. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I will.
But he does like a lot of long takes in the
Mhm.
movie, and the camera's constantly moving and going around, cars, and it's just like, dude, the direction and just like the setup and like I'm just like this is a mastermind at the works.
Yeah.
But before the movie, they did like a 3-minute trailer for the Odyssey, and
Mm.
I haven't seen the trailer yet, like on the big screen, right? And I just sat there and I was just like smiling the entire time, and I could just feel the inner child like we're gonna fucking be there, like cinema,
Well,
so
when
great.
Chris Nolan comes and does a screening of it at the Academy Museum, I'll get tickets and just not even give you a choice. I'll just be like, "Hey, Chaz, I already got you a ticket. Just get to LA."
Do it, do it, do it. I would definitely show up because that'd be so awesome. But sweet. So you said August 2nd at the Salt Lake
Sir.
City Library, correct?
Yep.
Uh, links will be in the description for that,
Mhm.
uh, along with any trailers or anything like that. If you want to, any
Yeah,
promotional content, look at the notes, right?
we can pass some stuff towards you and people can check it out.
Let's go, dude. I'm so excited. So it's August 2nd, and then you can follow the social media. Deuce, where can people find you? Where can people find all this stuff?
Instagram is where I usually direct people. I'm at Doose at Doose, and then at In the Path of Shadows, or is it in the? I think it's just In the Path. It might be In the Path of Shadows movie. I don't pay attention to any of this stuff. I'm a 900-year-old man when it comes to this stuff. But let's see, let's see. In the Path of Shadows movie. These are the important things you have to get right for the children to find you. So at In the Path of Shadows movie on Instagram.
So excited. What's their biggest thing you're looking forward to the most?
Honestly, I'm just excited to share with the people that gave so much of their selves and their talents to make this thing a reality. Like, the people that have seen it so far, kind of like the test audience people, the friends and family, have all been so hyper just supportive and just everybody, and even people that I don't know well, have just been like the number one question is always, wait, how much was your budget? And then I tell them there's like, you pulled this off for that little money? And I'm like, yeah. And, it's this type of stuff where it's you live with something for a decade and all you see is problems. All you see is what ifs, what could have beens, what you did wrong, what you wish you would have done, what you wish you had money for. It's that matter of I see what's not there, but I'm excited to share with people and get to see what is there. And like I've always been a person that hates what I create. Like, I think that's most artists. Like, we get done with something and we're just like, I had to get it out, but I don't like it. But I fucking love this movie. Like, this is the movie that me as a like 10-year-old kid, I would have popped it on the VHS player over and over again. Like, it would have been that constant rotation of like the Lost Boys and The Thing and Sleepaway Camp and In the Path of Shadows. And that's just the movie I made. And I'm so happy that it exists.
Sleepaway Camp.
Fucking love Sleepaway Camp, man.
Oh, buddy, dude, that ending.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best ending in all of movie history.
That's equivalent to like Hereditary's ending, dude. Like that's like fucking like oh fuck.
So bananas.
Um, it's always great talking movies with you.
Right? I have a good time with you as well, my friend.
Yeah, when you're in town, we should catch up before. Well, first, how long are you gonna be in town for?
Literally, we get in Saturday, the screening's on Sunday, and we're heading home Monday afternoon. Like, it's just super fast.
Well, we'll try and squeeze something in there and you know
Yeah.
meet up
Yeah.
before.
I think we're going to be doing like a post screening bar trip for everyone to come and just hang out and have fun. So,
Yeah, dude. So, well, I'm excited to see you then. Everyone follow his social media, follow In the Path of Shadows. Uh, Deuce, thanks for being on, dude. It's nice catching up.
thanks, man. It's always a pleasure. It's been way too long.
I know. I know. We're gonna make this
I'm
more
just,
frequent.
I'm honestly so happy the podcast is coming back too. Like, when that just randomly popped up in my feed and it was just like new episode, and I was like, wait, what? And I started listening, like, oh shit, it's back. Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude. It was that's the thing. I don't have anything else to post it on except for YouTube and Spotify or whatever. And
Hmm.
like, well, I'm just gonna put it out in the ethers, and whoever
Yeah.
was following it can listen to it. And there's actually like some listenership now, like on the stuff. I'm like, hmm, what a weird method, but okay. So yeah, I just decided to do it when I want to do it.
I love it.
So yeah, dude. We'll catch up. And I just want to say congrats on your final edit.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the film.
Oh, I will. And here's to plenty more projects.
Yes. Here's to the next one I'll force you to come and work on.
Count me in.